Have you heard about Tommy Robinson? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Tommy Robinson. Yeah, he's like a crypto sort of fascist guy.
Yeah, he did something against the law, so that's why he's in jail. It's not long enough for him. He should have been jailed for longer.
And why is that?
Racist.
And should we jail people who are racist?
Yeah, if they're openly racist, yeah, it's illegal.
You know exactly the sort of things he hates. I'm not even going to give him the airtime, or I'm not even going to start to list his targets because it buys into his agenda.
I'm not trying to fight with you. I'm just trying to.
You know what I say to him and all people like him?
What?
It's when people stop wanting to come to this country, we are really in trouble.
Should he be jailed for it?
Yeah, if he's been told off, if he's been given enough warnings. I mean, Britain has got pretty good for free speech if you take it on a global looking at the different countries. I think we're up near the top.
Hi, it's Ezra Levant here in London, England, in Leicester Square. I'm actually in the UK on a secret mission, but while I was here, I thought I would go out onto the street and talk to ordinary Brits and ask them, have you heard of Tommy Robinson? Have you heard about him being put in jail over publishing a video that a judge told him not to do? What's the state of freedom of speech in the UK? Are you allowed to talk about things like immigration and grooming gangs? Well, we talked to passers-by, and here's what they had to say. Have you guys heard of Tommy Robinson?
No, I have not.
Yes.
What do you think of Tommy Robinson?
Not much. Personally, I don't have any rounded opinion because I haven't had an awful lot of time to study the evidence one way or the other.
Have you heard about Tommy Robinson? Does that name ring a bell?
No.
No?
Well, yeah, he's in jail because he was in contempt of court.
Yeah, Tommy Robinson. Yeah, he's like a crypto sort of fascist guy.
Tommy Robinson,
Yes, we
not that guy.
We have.
Yeah.
Does he sometimes have something good to say, even if you don't like the man? Does he sometimes shine a light on a truth?
No, he hasn't. His is the politics of hate and prejudice, and it's as simple as that.
And who does he hate?
Simple as that. We're a really good, accepting country here. You know exactly the sort of things he hates. I'm not even going to give him the airtime, or I'm not even going to start to list his targets because it buys into his agenda.
I'm not trying to fight with you. I'm just trying to.
You know what I say to him and all people like him?
What?
It's when people stop wanting to come to this country, we are really in trouble. Yeah, all those things they go on about that are reasons why people come here. Well, they come here for free schools. They come here because they get education. They come here to get a roof over their head. Makes me proud of this country. Yes, it is the sort of country you can come to, and you do get those things, which is why people come here. And the day that stops is the day we're
Have you heard about Tommy Robinson?
Not enough to speak on him.
Yeah.
No.
Have you heard of him? You know who I'm talking about?
No, so
I have, yeah.
What are your thoughts on him?
Mixed.
And he's in prison now for publishing a video that the courts ordered him not to publish. What do you think of that?
We should have free speech.
I think it's a good idea.
Why is that? Don't you believe in the British concept of free speech?
Yeah, I believe in free speech, but there's a line that has to be crossed sometimes, and he's crossed that line.
Yeah, he did something against the law, so that's why he's in jail.
Yeah, he should be locked up. Oh, he should be punished.
Are you worried that that's...
I think he's a troublemaker anyway.
Well, you don't get there for nothing. It's the political climate at the moment is something that he's probably crossed the mark on.
It's not long enough for him. He should have been jailed for longer.
And why is that?
Racist.
And should we jail people who are racist?
Yeah, if they're openly racist, yeah, it's illegal.
I didn't know it was illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal in this country.
Well, we are in a society now, you have to be very careful what you say. You say one thing, they are not agree, the other thing, they don't agree, so
Is there too much censorship in the UK?
I think so.
There's a lot of issues that ordinary people talk about, I think, person to person, but they're maybe scared to talk about to a broader audience, like immigration or the grooming gangs. How are those issues going to be resolved if Brits can't have full-blown conversations? How are those things going to be solved?
They're not listening. They're definitely not listening to the public. Maybe it's harder than we know. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
They don't want to admit what's going on because it's all political. You know, they're looking for votes. They don't want to upset the apple cart. We're meant to be a equal culture, and it's not working that way. We as whites in this country now are a minority. We're the second race.
First of all, just in the United States, when we're looking at Rebel News, we're seeing like somebody that's actually talking truth to power.
Wow.
And you were talking truth to Trudeau, and you prevailed because you're still here and he's not.
Right on. They did handcuff me. It was the only time in my life I've been to jail.
I can believe. I don't know how you tolerate it, but you know the great thing is that true media, you take the punches, you take the hits, you take the handcuffs, and you get right to it.
Right on. Well, thanks very much. It's nice to meet you.
Stay at it.
Bye, guys. Take care. What a hoot. Meeting Rebel fans in Leicester Square in the UK. What do you think of the state of free speech in the UK? Is it being withered away? Is it strong? Do you believe in it?
I believe in it. I think it's still, at its core, still fundamentally there. I think there are attacks on it from time to time, but I think everybody's just got to be unified across all walks of life and defend it to the death, because that's what we're based on.
I think the freedom of speech still exists. It's when you go online, do it online and on some certain websites that it becomes a bit viral, and it becomes, a bit stupid.
It's just being stifled.
Yeah.
And where's that coming from? What part of society is stifling the conversation?
The top.
Why do you think they're doing that?
Because they don't want to be exposed as being dictating to everybody. It's just, we're no longer a democracy. We're now being dictated to. It's a dictatorship.
Not necessarily. I mean, it's getting very sort of you have to be politically correct nowadays, which those things have changed in that respect.
But do you think people are able to talk about things like immigration?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
And
it depends on the group of people you're with. It does vary.
But you can say what you want, but it's when you go online and you try to spread it online that it gets viral. And
how's that worse than spreading it in person? Like if you talk to 100 people in person, how is that different than talking to 100 people online?
Because you don't see them online, you see them in person. You know that who you're talking to, you can have a conversation with. They're good people, but online you don't know who the hell you're talking. Who the hell you?
So it sounds like you're okay with a little bit of online censorship.
Yeah. Definitely.
Can I challenge you, because you just told me that people should be jailed if they're racist?
Oh no, that's different. That's offensive. Freedom of speech is different.
Aren't you allowed to be offensive?
What you're doing at the moment is freedom. You didn't even ask me if you could film me, but I'm allowing you to, because
okay, fair enough.
But as well.
But aren't I allowed to hurt your feelings? I mean, I would never hurt you physically, but can I say something that hurts your feelings? Isn't that part of free speech?
Oh, it is, but there are limits to anything, isn't there? And racism is a limit.
So even if what he says is wrong, should he be jailed for it?
Yeah, if he's been told off, if he's been given enough warnings. I mean, Britain has got pretty good for free speech if you take it on a global looking at the different countries. I think we're up near the top.
Why do you think the Labour government voted against an inquiry into the rape gangs?
Because exactly what I say, I believe that unfortunately the victims who have suffered this are going to actually be compensated, or at least something happen to them. An inquiry, as I say, is going to take another 2, 3 years, 4 years, knowing the way politics work.
Aren't we allowed to stir up a little bit of trouble in politics?
Yes, you're allowed to start a discussion. It's free speech. It is free speech.
He does incite violence, doesn't he? And he incites a lot of very bad feelings. So,
but feelings and violence are I don't know if he's incited violence. I don't think so. But feelings, aren't we allowed to elicit feelings? I mean, isn't that what a passionate political speech does? A union leader, Brexit for or against, Labour, Tory for or against. Aren't we allowed to be passionate and to stir up passions?
we are indeed, yes, but not of hatred.
Tommy Robinson has had some popularity because other politicians are afraid to talk about immigration, grooming gangs. So it's been left to Tommy Robinson because powerful people don't want to talk about it. The Labour government just voted against an inquiry into grooming gangs, for example.
But there was previous grooming gang inquiries, wasn't there? And it's a big debate as to whether those grooming gang inquiries were enough or whether there needs a further grooming gang inquiry.
Are you worried about them at all?
No, but they've used these things as an agenda to highlight it in certain communities where it has arisen or certain recent cases. But it's the problem with paedophiles and grooming. That's across every single culture. They're trying to make out it's coming from one place. It's not. It's not.
But in Rotherham, for example, about 100,000...
You can pick out an example, then you
got a huge example, 1,400 white girls. They were white girls, and most of the men were Pakistani Muslim men.
I don't know that. I don't know if that's
I'm just going by the reports.
I don't know if
there was a commission of inquiry. There was a government inquiry.
I don't know if they were all
They weren't all there. About 80% were Pakistani Muslim men. I'm not making that up. I'm just reading the report.
Right.
I read the.
So have you been to jail? Have you seen the face of paedophiles in front of you and what their ethnicity is? Like lone white paedophiles or paedophiles who are that from that culture?
But we can all agree that that's bad stuff.
I won't let that drag down a greater community who do a lot for this country.
I detect a bit of a Scottish brogue, and I'm from Calgary, Canada, which is named after a place in Scotland. I love Scotland. Now, I know you guys had a first minister called Hamza Yusuf for a while.
Yeah.
And
he didn't do a lot of favours for Scotland, did he?
I don't.
He didn't last long.
He gave a speech once where he talked about how Scotland,
bonkers. An idiot. He's an idiot.
But why are we so surprised when the most senior positions in Scotland are filled almost exclusively by those who are white? Take my portfolio alone. The Lord President, white. The Lord Justice Clerk, white. Every High Court judge, white. The Lord Advocate, white. The Solicitor General, white. The Chief Constable, white. Every Deputy Chief Constable, white.
Isn't that anti-white racism?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. If it was another, imagine if the role was reversed. If it was a white minister saying, well, we've got too many black people here, we've got too many Asian people. Yeah. You have to just accept people for what they are and what they bring to the country and what they contribute. It's not about classing people as A, B, C or D, which was what he was doing.
Generally, when people start talking about freedom of speech, a lot of the time, they want to offend someone.
But you've offended a number of people in your conversation with me, I'm sure. People watching it, some people will be mad, but isn't that your right?
Why
well, you would offend because you had some very strong things to say, and I love hearing it.
I'm not. I've said nothing offensive.
Well, some people might find it offensive.
This is a great country, and the sad day will be when people don't want to come here. And I've said that these grooming
but it's a subjective test.
Are not typical.
Somebody might find you offensive.
Of the communities from which
you've got so much energy. I bet occasionally you bump into someone who doesn't like what you say. Come back.
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
I've got a show.
Okay, nice to meet you. Last question, and I thank you guys for stopping to talk to me. Elon Musk has been using Twitter, or X as it's now called, to talk about some of these issues, immigration, grooming gangs, and some British politicians say he should be censored because he's interfering in British affairs. What are your thoughts on Elon Musk and his use of his social media platform?
I think he should stay out of English politics. He's not wanted.
I think he's a bit over the top regards to that. So, yeah, I think he should interfere because, I mean, there's a political approach to politics between, especially as he's in the US government. So.
Well, that's it from Leicester Square. If you want to learn more about Tommy Robinson, well, as you know, Rebel News is involved in helping to crowdfund his legal defense. He's in a number of legal battles. To learn more, go to SaveTommy.com.